Wait a second. Did we just top? We're going to be talking about some technical analysis going through the SPY, Qs, Apple, Tesla, Amazon, Nvidia, AMD, and Meta going forward, looking at AMC and GME as well. And we are going to talk about why the SPY does not necessarily want to be moving up this fast right in this area. So let's get into it. If you were part of the Patreon, you may have seen I put out a very quick video. I was busy throughout the day, but I made sure to take some time to at least throw together a video for Patreon because this is something that you do not see often, and this right here is what I call possible opportunity. So the reason for this being is this is a weekly expected move for the SPY, and then this is the downside weekly expected move for the SPY, and we moved outside of that very, very early on in the week on a Monday, and you do not see that very often. So what this would signal to me is if we experience weakness at this level, actually because we're up here, we have a 68% chance to close back into this range, meaning we have a 68% chance to close lower than the prices that we hit today, which kind of signals to me, hey, we might be forming that top right now. Now, whether that top is going to be some kind of pullback on the 2 hour, we'll talk about that. But first, the daily ranges for tomorrow, a little bit bigger, a little bit, 549.99 to the upside, and we have 544.21 to the downside. And the funny part about this being 549.99 was I believe it was Tom Lee who said 5,500 or 550 for the SPY would be his target, and he's always magically right these days. So maybe we do see some kind of weakness in here, and then we pop up one more time like this or something like that. We have to take into consideration this market is still rigged to the upside for now, so we'll pay attention to that. But right now you do have a 30-minute divergence on the MACD, but kind of flat here on the RSI. So this would lead me to believe this maybe is just some kind of pullback as of right now, but this still has potential to go negative, start a negative trend, and roll over this 2 hour. So if we were going to see a pullback, I really would think it would be on the 2 hour level. Okay, so I think we would maybe see some kind of pullback on the 2 hour, get this thing closer to the center line and make a more clear divergence in the future. So something like this could be taking place very soon, right? We're just formulating those scenarios and then we want to react accordingly. As of right now, that has not turned over. That 30-minute divergence has not even confirmed. So if we wanted to pull back from here, we would need this 2 hour to cross over here. If we're going to continue up, then this 30-minute signal, this will never confirm for the SPY. So that's overall what we need to pay attention to. The last thing I just wanted to mention on the SPY was this is the upside monthly expected move, and we still got a little bit of the month left, so maybe I will be right in saying that we're going to see some kind of dramatic downturn in the next 10 trading days. The reason that this could just be some kind of pullback is because of the Qs. You're seeing the same divergence, but you really are not seeing that at the same time on the RSI. Okay, so that leads me to believe if we do see some kind of pull down, even on the 30-minute, we could see that rotate back up because the Qs are not outside of its range yet. They're just up towards it. So that would tell me maybe tomorrow we do see a pullback and then we get some kind of move upward and then we have a little break throughout the middle of the week. So that's interesting if that happens. Maybe they get people complacent going on into the end of the day tomorrow, and then they just open the market up on Thursday and things are not looking good. But just remember, they can keep this market higher for as long as they want, even if we're outside of these monthly expected moves. They can just keep it going higher. They set the price. Okay, so we need some levels to pay attention to in case we get a downturn. That would be 481.71 to the downside and 488.41 to the upside. So this would be interesting because this actually would take you outside of that daily expected move, that weekly expected move up in this area. So this is where I would really expect weakness. If we end up there, I would expect some selling to come in that area. And if that's not, you don't necessarily want to expect anything in the market. You want to say that's the most likely area. If we roll over, then the sellers were there. If it doesn't, and we just keep going up from there, they just keep rigging this market higher, okay. Right now, you do have a good shot to roll over this 2 hour, and then we can see some kind of 2 hour pullback. And this thing's just been cooked and cooked and cooked for a long time. And it's funny that this stuff starts to happen once the AMC and GME problem comes to light. Isn't that funny? Isn't that interesting? It's almost like the market's getting flipped on its head. We very easily could just rotate down this 2 hour right now. Okay, see something crazy tomorrow or something like that, see that rotate down, and then see another big move up, giving us a very clear 2 hour divergence on the Qs here. I think that that is a scenario to be aware of, even though this has potential here for some reversal and trend on a 30-minute. We have to pay attention to where the 2 hour is. The 2 hour is very positive as of right now, so if we wanted to get more of a reversal, we would need to see that get closer to the center line down here. That's overall what I wanted to say with the Qs, and it's funny because we're actually approaching the yearly expected move soon. XLU, I just wanted to point this out. We're seeing nothing from XLU. It's dropping down again. It's dropping down in the post market. XLU just looks ugly at this point, and that's why I think the market is really, really rigged. I think we should be following this as we were literally on this date right over here. From actually way over here. From way over here back in the very beginning of May, we started talking about it, and we said, look at the SPY, how it's following it. Look at the SPY, how it's following it. Ooh. Why is the SPY not following it right here? And then the SPY caught up, and now the SPY is going up while XLU remains at lower levels. So I'm still paying attention to this. I'm still thinking that we need to catch up to XLU, and I think they're just rigging the market to pay for the GME and AMC problem that's going on. Now, it's just my opinion, but I could be wrong. That's perfectly fine. I'll pay attention to the signals. We trade like water on this channel. We are flip-floppers. We flip back and forth all the time because we know that they are trying to trick us at any moment. Now, if we look at Apple, this was something that I did say during my live stream was look out for some kind of double top up in this area because the weekly expected move is up here. So right now, what do you have? Well, you have the potential for double top, and yes, I'm going to count this as divergence. I know that this comes up a little bit higher, but this is only like 1.5 points off, and this is a dramatic downturn. So I'm going to call that divergence at this point and just say, you know, this thing could start to reverse around, and that weekly expected move is right up in this area. So I mentioned this on the Patreon as well. It looks like if that can rotate down, look how close it is to the center line. So we could be seeing a negative trend on the 30-minute scale. And guess what? The 2-hour, that can get a more dramatic pullback now. You have to talk about only pullbacks at this moment. We can't say this is really, really negative because it's not really, really negative. It's just in a pullback as of right now. So if we do see downside, look for those other weekly expected moves and look for that to turn up. And what if we create something to form some upside up here? We'll look at that going on into Apple. As of right now, it looks like that 30-minute, if that thing crosses over, you may see some weakness for Apple coming in tomorrow. Tesla was another one that we mentioned live and said, hey, if we come up towards this level here, watch out because that weekly expected move might come in. And we went to that weekly expected move. We got outside of it. And now it looks like, what are we doing? Well, we're getting closer to that center line down here on the MACD. So if we wanted to go negative here, that would make sense. But we need to make sure that that is actually fully breaking down. We don't want some kind of just bring down like this and then it curls right back up. So if this remains positive, right, if this can even go negative for a second, if it curls up at any time, that could mean we're actually going to go make another high, and maybe the timing was just a little bit off over here and our timing is better right over here. So that's where managing that risk helps. Remember, the course down in the description is only $100 for the month of June. Get it while it lasts. It will teach you how to manage your trade. It will teach you how to not take big losses. It'll teach you in depth everything that we're doing here, the exact trading style, the exact how to read the indicators, exactly everything that is important in order to trade with these type of signals is in that course, and it's only $100. So the thing about Tesla is this can rotate over the 2-hour, and the 2-hour, if that rolls over, it's still pretty close to going negative. If that rolls over, it would be about here, and you don't have much room left to go negative here. So if we start to roll over on the 2-hour, look out because we could test this low. We could go make a new one, and maybe we want to see another trap like this. As of right now, we have a big trap, big trap, big trap, big trap, big trap. So I would not be expecting anything different. They are ripping you around because they know retail really likes to trade Tesla. Now, as we hop into Amazon, we're noticing what? The 2-hour does have potential to cross up. Now, this is one in the Patreon video we were saying, now Amazon does look like it has some room to the upside. You have to be conscious of that. The 2-hour curling up near positive territory would be a good thing. Seeing that fade towards the end of the day, though, very interesting. So the reason we were talking about this was the 30-minute divergence down here. You got that to confirm. Boom, that MACD saying, hey, I have potential to go positive. It goes positive right here. It said go, 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 and boom, we see some upside. So it's a pretty solid move, 182.50 all the way up to about 185. Pretty solid move there, honestly. Now, this isn't outside of a weekly range. This one looks a lot different. So I'd pay attention if the 30-minute crosses down, that means negativity. But if the 2-hour crosses up, that means you might get some 2-hour momentum behind it, and you might see some big positivity from Amazon. We'll pay attention to that because the weekly expected move is up towards this high. So what if we go make a 2-hour divergence? That would be interesting. I think that they're going to use individual stocks to try to hold the stock market up a little higher. We might see some stocks really green while a lot of other ones are really red, and we'll see what happens with that going forward. Now, you look at this 30-minute for Nvidia and you're going, wow, this thing is just wonky, really just drifting higher, drifting higher. So let's clear it up for a bit. And this is a big tip. If you're not good at the short time frames, if you're not good at managing the trade on the short time frames, they're kind of ripping you up, just zoom out and look for 2-hour opportunities, because right now, Nvidia was showing this, and I showed this off live. I just said, hey, this is triple divergence. You have it on the MACD, you have it on the R side at the same time. This can reverse around a daily MACD. Okay, so if this here is able to go down, and maybe we do see one more bounce. You got to always be conscious of any kind of bounce. I'm looking at something like 125. Yes, I did take this trade. I said, F you, Nvidia. Everyone tells me to buy you, so I'm not going to. And now I see a weakness signal, so pull the trigger, Lucas. That's what I overall did here. This is not outside of a weekly expected move, so I don't think this is a dramatic move up, but we've seen dramatic moves up on Nvidia forever now. It is one of the most rigged stocks in the market, and they're still complimenting it, and it's still listed as a buy when it is just screaming higher. If you need to look at investing, how to invest, or know what stocks to invest in, look at the video we put up over the weekend. It literally is so freaking helpful. And if you're bad at the shorter time frames, then just do that. It's so much easier. It's so much easier. Yes, it takes more time. You can't make as much money as fast, but your money is way less risky. Right here, what do we see? Triple divergence. Okay, so what do we notice about the daily then? Well, the daily's been needing to pull back for a long time, and that kind of signal, a triple 2-hour divergence, is what you would see to see some kind of daily pullback. Now, we could see this bounce like this go like this get a little bit close like this, turn back up. We'll see what happens with Nvidia, but just know that 2-hour divergences, especially a triple divergence, does like to cross over the daily MACD. 2 hours still a little bit far away from the center line, but hey, we'll take the triple divergence where it's at, and I'll manage that trade. AMD actually seeing this wick up, and this could be a sign for some positivity on the daily scale. You are negative, okay? So right now we really should be talking negativity on the daily scale because you're down in negative territory, but something popped up at the end of the day here, a little 2-hour divergence. So if that wants to rotate that daily up, maybe we see AMD actually catch a bid here. I would really be paying attention to a 30-minute chart. I really would see this thing. If it's able to go positive, great, that's awesome. If we're not able to break through this trend, we could see like some resistance come in and then see that turn back around. We'll see what happens there. But if this just wants to roll up for a second and roll right back down, well, then you would say, hey, 160.83 has been pretty good to us, pretty good resistance there. If that starts to roll back down, hey, test the low, go make a new one for AMD. That's really all you need to know here. And the daily momentum is in negative territory and pointing down. So that's not the best sign. If things start to flip around, we'll talk differently about it. Let's get through Meta real quick. And Meta was interesting because you have another point of divergence right here. Now you have to talk about a little bit of a cup and handle, right? Maybe a cup and handle, but this might have violated it right there. So we'll see. But if this wanted to, 30-minute curls down, hey, negative territory is there. We can start to make some downside. Maybe this 2-hour does actually want to keep drifting down. You see it's starting to reject there with that crossing. So we'll pay attention to that, but you just need to know if that does curl down on the 30-minute, let's say the wonkiness continues, it just curls right back up. That means another positive move most likely coming for Meta. So we're paying attention to that going forward. I almost drew a cat. Oh my God, I almost drew a cat on accident. That's pretty cool. Roaring kitty, I almost drew a cat. Meow. But yeah, you just really want to be paying attention, be able to flip-flop back and forth with these things because this market is super rigged and you need to know how to manage your risk. Get that course. It's only $100, guys. Learn how to trade and then go into a bear market where I can guarantee you my channel will be calling the bottoms and the tops in a bear market. It's very, very fun. I do very well in a bear market. AMC, this is very important, and we pointed this out throughout the day. Okay, it wanted to go positive, but it never did. We see the drop off, and here's the funny thing about AMC. They just reported they had their best numbers in all of 2024 on Friday, and then the next day, they actually reported better numbers than Friday, yet the stock goes down. This is how you know it's directly tied to GME. It's the same algorithm, and this thing brings down. Okay, that means negativity for a second. We're waiting for that 30-minute to curl up and go positive. Look, it doesn't go positive. Every time it tries to, it gets halted. So momentum is very important for AMC. And as we zoom out to a 2-hour, this is where I just wanted to point out, this thing is rolling negative. So we have to talk negatively about AMC. We need that to cross back to the upside to see positivity. Now we're seeing some toppy behavior in the market as of right now, some maybe slight pullback behavior from the stock market right now. And so we want to see if AMC and GME are that reason. If they are the reason, then this thing could scream higher. If you really want to see a squeeze out of this bad boy, a gamma squeeze even, you need to get above 599. 599 is that daily expected or that weekly expected move for AMC. And so it's funny that it's right at $6. So you know anywhere above $6, they are going to try to suppress the stock. Okay, so you need to blow past that to see something crazy happen. That would be one of your 32% chances. If you start to get pushed back below this, well, then it's just a regular week for AMC, a regular week. Okay, so pay attention to that. GME, What do we notice here? We were actually able to hold up at this trend line. I never moved the trend line, but when we curled up on this 2 hour, it never crossed that center line to go positive. You see how important momentum is, and that started to drop off. So if you really want to get positive on this, you need to cross up on a 2 hour. You need at least 2 hour momentum. If that doesn't cross, we can see more downside in both AMC and GME. I want to be very clear about that so that you understand. We are not people who are going to tell you the fruity goodness of every single day to get you to believe that tomorrow's going to be the day. You are, if you're trying to expect something like out of the call today, out of the annual meeting today, all you need to know is they don't want to prove any market manipulation on their side. They don't want any piece of evidence. So he talked perfectly. I reviewed what he said during the annual meeting, and all he said was, we are dedicated to working. That is a very, very good thing to hear from your guy in charge. Someone who says, we are going to get to work and do the right things. I think that is a very good thing. If they announce any merger, if they announce any acquisition and the stock goes crazy, all they have to do is say, hey, the stock went crazy after he announced this and he talked to Roaring Kitty and therefore he's, doing insider trading. They don't want to do that. They want this problem to expose itself so that it actually gets exposed in the whole market, okay? That is very important to understand. Right now, you need the 2 hour to curl up or else that thing is going down. Now, this is very cool. On the 30-minute, this is what we talked about live. We said this live multiple times. We said right here it says pullback. Now it says negative territory. So from this point on, negative territory on, we said downside is the most likely thing from here. We hopped off the live and boom, look at that. It goes down. It goes down. That is very, very interesting. If you want this to go up, you need this to curl up into positive territory. Yeah, it looks like you have divergence, but this thing is just so wonky. And this is where we talked about AMC on the 2 hour having that wonky behavior. Maybe we'll show that tomorrow. But right now we have to pay attention to this. This is kind of a make or break moment because the 30-minute is pointing down in negative. The 2 hours pointing down in negative. So you really need right now GME to hold up. And maybe the SPY and the Qs hitting their upside weekly expected move is the rigged move that they needed to pull in order to rug pull it very, very soon. Very interesting. Towards the end of the day, we saw that volatility was turning down and it looks like it's building up. Now, this looks a little flaggy to me. It could just break down one more time, but if that 30-minute curls up, hey, we got volatility still here to stay. The coolest part about volatility right now is the daily side is saying a bounce in volatility. Now, this could be all the bounce we get, but right now you would say, hey, we already tried to curl down. We weren't able to. We curl back up. Volatility is here to stay, it seems. This really is starting to look like a higher low to me for volatility. A lot of people telling me, hey, the dollar's dropping off, the dollar's dropping off. Well, it's dropping off at a point where we expect it to. 105.65. 105.65 is where we expect this to start to pull back. Now, I would say this. The SPY just reached a new all-time high again. It's every day we have to say that. Did the dollar make a new low below this one? Technically, did the dollar make a new low below this one? Right over here, because that's where the bottom for the dollar was back here in December. Okay, so back here in December is where we started talking about, hey, the dollar is going higher while the market is going higher. Right now, you do have that disparity, and you even have it in the nearest price action. The dollar has gone higher, and the SPY has continued to go higher. This is insider selling. Now you're seeing a little pullback, but there's nothing to worry about here. We'll see what this looks like in the morning. We'll have to look into this a little further if we're going to get some other rigged move up. But as of right now, I'm seeing weakness in the SPY, and I'm also seeing strong dollar, and I'm also seeing, hey, we're hitting a weekly expected move in the first trading day of the week. That is something crazy that you don't see very often. So pay effing attention. I believe the main takeaway for this video is we still need something bad to happen in order to really get a solid pullback, in order to really get a reversal in trend in this market. But you notice that, eventually we're going like this, we're growing exponentially, and now the SPY is just shooting straight up and it's going outside of a weekly range. That is something that we really pay attention to. That's as high up as the entire option market priced in the SPY to go for the entire week. And what do we notice right when we get to those levels? Why do we pay attention to those levels? That is the true support and resistance levels that you need to be paying attention to in the market. People will make up all the things, liquidity, we can talk about those are important, but at the end of the day, these weekly ranges are a added tool that can help you more than anything in the entire stock market, okay? And any analysis, anything like that, these are what you need to pay attention to. And right now, we're hitting the upside move in the first trading day of the week, so pay attention. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to grab that course if you want to learn how to do this stuff. We talk about the weekly ranges in the course as well. It's only $100. $100. June is coming to an end soon. We're over halfway through the month, so you only have a couple more weeks to grab that. And I really appreciated all the questions and compliments and everything that we're getting. A lot of people complimenting at least the investment style video. Not a lot of guys watch that, and that kind of disappoints me, because that is how you really make money in the stock market safely, is you invest on a monthly scale. It's very, very easy. It's very, very fun to do, because you don't have to sit and stare at charts all the time. You still got to manage the trade like once a week, but other than that, it's good for your time. You can touch grass. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Thank you for liking, subscribing. You guys are fantastic. I will look forward to seeing you live tomorrow morning. Peace.